What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building with another video. Yes, another video putting up on the channel. Got a great topic to talk about today, man. But first and foremost, I do want to say thank you for everybody, all the movement and energy on the channel as of recently. This has probably been the biggest month in the history of the Shop Podcast, in the history of this channel. So I just want to say thank you guys for the continued support. You guys showed up and showed out for the Shop Podcast 331. I'll make sure I put up the link up here in the video at some point in time so you guys can go watch that if you missed it. It was a phenomenal show. Shout out to everybody who came out and watched the show live. But I got a great topic to talk about today, as you guys can see in the thumbnail. And once again, I'm going to continue to keep bringing these standalone videos to the channel, man. You guys loved the last one. It's easily the biggest video in this channel history. I'll leave a link to that as well on the screen so you guys can go check that out. So once again, man, but we got a big topic today. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it, but it's something I definitely want us to talk about, especially with the new news coming out of Developer Direct. So obviously, as you guys can see in the thumbnail, I am talking about Indiana Jones. Yes, the Xbox exclusive Indiana Jones. We want to make sure we get that out of the way. No mixed messaging here on the channel. All straightforward, full 100% transparency. But I kind of wanted to get in a few different factors and why I'm excited about this IP and why I think it's actually a big deal. You know, I mean, obviously getting that information out of the Dev Direct, it was probably the biggest surprise out of the news. I don't think anybody really thought that we get any new information or really even a deep dive, or really thought the game was actually a lot closer, although some contending information has come out since. But I wanted to get into a couple quick things, just some particulars about Indiana Jones, the franchise, the IP as it relates to me. Once again, I am a huge fan of the movies. I'm an older gamer. I'm about 40 as of right now, so I'm a bit older. Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford played a big role. Obviously, it played a big role in video games. It essentially spawned Tomb Raider, games like Uncharted. It essentially spawned a whole platform of games in of itself. You know what I mean? So Indiana Jones has been a huge influence in the industry. We've never really gotten a really good Indiana Jones. There's a bunch of games on like the PS2 that came out as well. For the time, they were okay. But they weren't really what we thought. The IP has not been touched really in video game history all that much. I think the best the best Indiana Jones IP to come out is actually the Lego Indiana Jones IP, which I'll put up here as well too. I had a ball with those games, and in my opinion, they're probably the best version, the definitive version of an Indiana Jones video game, which is kind of crazy because ultimately it's really just a Lego game, but it actually is a solid video game. But we really haven't gotten one up until this point, and some people would argue that, well, the IP, you know, is a bit out of date. The movie didn't necessarily do that well. It came out in 2023, and it kind of came out to mixed receptions. People thought Harrison Ford was a bit too old, but I think the IP has plenty of room to grow. And the cool thing about it is that it is in the hands of Wolfenstein developer Machine Games. Once again, this is part of that huge haul that they got with the ZeniMax Bethesda deal. One of the phenomenal studios. They make phenomenal games, namely the Wolfenstein series. And this is their take, and I want to emphasize that too, because I don't necessarily know what I want from an Indiana Jones game. Some people would say, well, why don't we just get something third person, action adventure, puzzle solving, Uncharted like, right? But I don't necessarily want that. What I want is Machine Games' version of Indiana Jones, right? The point of contention, a lot of people say, well, they've never made a third person game. Well, we don't even know if this game is first or third person. It could be mixed. I do want a mix of both if they decide to do that. I know first person has been their bread and butter, obviously, with the Wolfenstein series, and they've done phenomenal with that, and they really don't lack. You would think that in a game with an IP like Indiana Jones, where, you know, these are a lot of areas that they don't really deal with in their games, they actually do. If you look at the Wolfenstein series over the time the Machine Games had them, you know, New Blood, Young Blood, you know, New World, you look at those games, they've really been able to flesh out a great character. Look at the main character, BJ. He's actually a fairly notable character, so they know how to build that out, you know. as well as great, situational environmental storytelling with the Nazis, all that kind of stuff. They've been able to balance that in their video games, those touchy subjects, add a little sci-fi, fantasy fiction on top of all of that, some alien type stuff. You get a really, really fleshed out world. So they're able to do that. And that's actually what we want out of Indy. That's at least what I want out of an Indiana Jones game, because it is a bit different. Indiana Jones is not a typical, hero, quote unquote. I would actually call him an anti-hero. He's really just a guy, who kind of gets his way out of really bad situations more often than the average guy, right? He just happens to have a whip and he uses a gun as a last resort, is a really witty guy, but he kind of stumbles into situations being kind of a really super optimistic, treasure hunter. So, you got to capture that, capture the humor, capture the sense of environment, and they're able to do that in their Wolfenstein games. So that kind of fits with the talent that they actually currently have there. So I'm really excited, super duper duper excited to see what we get out of this game. And more particular too, I'm not necessarily even concerned. Some people might bring up the fact that, is this going to be tied to a movie? Is this going to be tied to a particular timeline? Is Harrison Ford even going to be involved with this game at all? Maybe some voice acting? I actually thought about it, and it doesn't bother me at all if he is not. Now, if he is, that is a feather in the cap, and they need to let us know. That's something that they should let us know right away. If it's going to be part of that direct and he's part of this, him walking out a la Keanu Reeves Cyberpunk, him walking out, and showing up, and it'd be insane. Imagine him actually walking out and him actually voicing Indiana Jones in this new game. That would be crazy. Now, I don't bank on that, but I'm okay if that is not the case. So, looking at this game going forward, I'm super excited. And another thing that it highlights, and this is kind of the bigger picture here. This kind of lines with more so Xbox, not necessarily just Indiana Jones, but it is a part of it, and that's the relationship between Xbox and Disney. We got to make sure we highlight that. People talk about, Insomniac and Sony and PlayStation, they got a lot of, with the Spider-Man, they're going to be doing X-Men. They got a great relationship with Disney, but people forget the relationship with Xbox has been growing. Xbox and Disney has been doing a lot of work together. You got the Blade situation over there. Obviously, they've done Sea of Thieves a couple times with the Pirates of the Caribbean crossover as well. They got a lot cooking up with Disney, and who knows, you never know. They've really been cooking up, and their relationship with Disney has gotten to a really, really good point, and it's actually really underrated. So those really are the big things that I want to touch on in this video, and I'm really excited about the game. Obviously, the Dev Direct is coming up this week on the 18th. Super excited to watch for it, man. We're finally going to be getting some information about a lot of these games, specifically Indiana Jones. Like I said, me being an older fan of the movies themselves, I'm really excited to see what this updated version, what their spin on the game looks like. But let me know down in the comment section what you guys think about the video. Once again, appreciate the support on the Shop Podcast on the channel. Continue to subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you guys are notified when I drop videos. Peace out, everybody.